1973. So it's 50 years. The Yom Kippur War broke out in 1967 during the Six-Day War. Israel had conquered territory in Palestine, like Gaza and the West Bank of the Sinai. In 1973, a coalition of Arab states attacked Israel, trying to gain that land back. After some really impressive initial successes, Israel reversed with significant input from the United States, heavy shipments of arms and armor. The U.S. actually even put its nuclear forces on the highest alert, which had only happened, I think, twice in the Cold War era. I'm just going to talk about the other one next. And Israel reversed the Arab offensive and ended up establishing itself in those territories and gaining more. I think much of the battle took place in the Sinai. So as a result of that, Israel now occupied areas it still occupies today, with the exception of the Sinai. And the UN, after the Yom Kippur War, in Resolution 338, said Israel had to leave. Resolution 338 has never been abided by, and that followed 242 in 1967, where the UN did the same. No country has violated or ignored UN resolutions more than Israel. And of course, we know what the long-term impact of Yom Kippur and the Six-Day War and all those other events was. The CIA has been basically on fire ever since, even with Camp David and the Oslo Accords. The Oslo Accords especially really, as Edward Said at the time pointed out, were not an agreement that really helped the Palestinians at all. And in today's context, as we look at the Middle East, and Biden is cozying up to Saudi, and obviously Israel is just on an absolute pogrom against Palestine. A lot of that can go back to this period. And in 1967 and 1973 is when the United States really threw all in with Israel. There'd always been this kind of relationship. But in the earlier years, the U.S. wanted to try to maintain some idea of keeping communications open and not coming down too hard against the Palestinians and the Arab states for oil reasons, as well as anything else. But by 1973, the U.S. clearly was using Israel as the cop on the beat, or the gendarme, or however you want to say it, in the region. And so it's important to understand that's been 50 years now, and the U.S. has been on this kind of consistent path toward supporting whatever Israel did, and it just gets more and more desolate. And the humanitarian crisis there is just amazing, and the media doesn't do a whole lot with it, worth noting. And then the other time that nuclear